Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to 100% Humboldt podcast with my new best friend, Virginia Bass. Hi, Virginia.
Hi, how are you? It's nice to be here.
It's nice to be here, yeah, with our main man, Nick. I was going to call him my protege. I'm his protege.
I see.
He has 2 million podcasts to you'll be number 42 or something.
Wow.
He's my hero.
You know, I was going to say this is the first thing I've done public since I left office.
Right.
I mean, this is kind of like public,
right.
you know.
This is kind of public.
It's kind of public.
Kind of public. How long has it been since you left office?
I don't have the days counted, but it's like a little over a year and a quarter.
Okay. Do you miss it?
I do. I miss parts of it. I miss the people. I have to admit, I don't miss some of the crazy times and drama. I mean, I do, but I don't.
Sure.
And they're going through some rough times right now, and it's a lot of hard work, but they've got some fun things happening too. So
be good.
I think I miss the fun, the excitement of, new things happening. But
Right. You can observe them from somewhere else now.
Yeah, pretty much. I have not watched a board meeting either.
Oh, really? Okay.
I won't let myself.
So your political career, you were it's city council, and then mayor, and then supervisor,
right.
board of supervisor.
Yep.
How many terms in each?
I did 6 years as city council, 4 years as mayor, so 1 term as a mayor.
Okay.
And then had the opportunity to run for supervisor and did 3 there. And wow. People say, why did you stop? And there's a couple of different things. I think sometimes political people stay too long. It's like the milk in the back of your refrigerator that kind of goes bad after a while.
Yeah.
And so, I wanted to be able to choose the time I left. And my mother had recently passed away back then too. So there's a lot on my plate.
Yeah.
Would I do the same thing now? I don't know, but it's been an interesting reentry type experience,
right?
I guess.
So back into non-public life.
Non-public, I know.
Although this is kind of public. So tell us the Virginia Bass story. How did you get here? I know you are 100% Humboldt.
I am.
Went to Eureka High and born in Eureka?
Yeah, I actually grew up in Myrtletown.
Okay.
So not too far from where we are today.
Right. Did you go to Worthington School?
No, I went to Lafayette.
Oh, hey.
It's funny. The kids just a few houses down went to Worthington. I had no idea who they were until we all went to junior high. It's like,
that's funny.
That's a strange way they have things. So
it's not that far away.
No, it's not. And it's just a great neighborhood. There's a lot of really good people who I still am in contact with. But, it was a nice, I guess you'd say quiet neighborhood, but.
Oh, it's great over here.
Well, there didn't used to be houses over a lot of the area.
I also want to interview Nick over here and go, hey, did you grow up in this neighborhood too?
No.
No, okay.
No, but Eureka.
But you're in Eureka.
Yeah.
We're in, the studio's in Myrtletown, so there's the connection.
So I've moved, I started in Myrtletown, kind of went up to Cutton for a while, a couple of different places in Eureka, but I've never gone more than probably 5 miles away from here.
So junior high, was that Lafayette or was there
Zane.
Zane, okay, right.
I was a Falcon.
Oh, the Zane Falcons.
Mm-hmm.
Come on. And then the Eureka.
The
Loggers.
Yeah.
Go Loggers.
So yeah, it's definitely, I've never really thought about leaving seriously. So.
What class did you graduate in?
1980.
80, okay. So 78.
Where did you go to school?
Sweetwater High School in National City, California. It's right over here on, it's not even on this map. It goes San Diego, National City, Chula Vista, Imperial Beach, San Ysidro, Tijuana.
Ooh,
so 15 minutes from the border. Real mixed race, lower middle income, feral hippie child, although not much of the hippie left up here.
I was going to say.
It's mostly in here now.
I was going to say, really? Okay.
Yeah. No, the joke is that it's no joke. I was voted most beautiful hair. Yeah, you can see it now. Anyway, not about me. This is about you.
It happens.
It happens.
How many, 40-some years later.
So did you go right from Eureka High to Cal Poly?
I did.
Also known as Humboldt State.
Right. I stayed here, one, because my boyfriend was here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you think later, it's like, I'm not sure if that was the best reason to stay, but, and the family business was here, the restaurant that I was in for 30-some years.
Wow. You want to talk about that in OH for a minute?
Then
then we'll go to Humboldt and then you can.
Sounds good.
All right. So OH Bass, he was legendary, right?
Well, I think so. And a lot of people, it's funny, people still remember his name.
Mm-hmm.
How do I put it? He had restaurants that went back to the 50s. I've got some old pictures. And so he had multiple different places. And I remember in 1966, it's when they built the one that I remember I was 5, and that's where we were for, 40 years, maybe almost 50 before we closed it. And I still have fundraisers based on OH's night. In fact, I've got one coming up in June.
I saw that.
Yeah, so it's people still
Super
remember
cool.
it, which is really nice when you think about it, because a lot of restaurants wouldn't have that. I mean, you have there's a few that people still follow, and I won't say who, but there's somebody that has this idea of trying to get someone to open a restaurant that features some of the old-time favorites of the different places.
So like Roy's or whatever.
Maybe.
We're not saying.
Yeah, but I'm going, I don't think running a restaurant right now, I'd run the other direction. It's too hard.
So could I take a shot at recounting what OH's townhouse was?
Sure.
So long-term legacy restaurant where you go and you could pick your steak, right?
Yep.
You can pick your meat.
Exactly.
Which is, who does that anymore? And so we were in college, Joni and I went, so we were really broke, so we had to go on some sort of a coupon or something. But I remember we had a couple of really nice meals there, and the meat was delicious. And
I probably waited on you.
Could have,
You just didn't remember me.
Yeah. How many years did you work there?
31-ish, something like that.
So
I mean, when you start when you're like 15 or 14, and in the family business, that is it. And it sold in 2008. We closed it. Oh yeah, we closed it on leap year day, 2008.
Wow.
So it's really only been closed 4 years if you think about it that way. Instead of 16.
Instead of 16. So it was kind of one of those landmark for sure places that everybody go to.
And it was really basic and simple on the outside and simple on the inside, but the food is what counted. And I'd like to think I still have a lot of customers and former employees that we keep in touch with, and it's a family.
Cool. Yeah,
so.
Small town and great restaurant.
Yeah, and I don't know if you probably knew my dad was on the board of supervisors too.
I did
back
know that.
In the day.
Oh, wow.
He was nuts. I don't know what he thought. I remember I was in like 6th grade when all this happened, and I thought it was the stupidest job anybody could want. Look what happened.
Right.
Yeah.
And I thought insurance was for chumps like my dad. Dumb insurance job. Who would do that? Sell life insurance. That's crazy. And 10 years as a State Farm agent on Labor Day.
Wow.
Yeah. Got a later start, but that's okay.
I know the feeling about later starts.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay to have restarts and later starts and that kind of thing. So, so did you actually manage the store, or did you only?
Yeah, no, I pretty much, at the time, my husband, who was my boyfriend in high school, we had both worked there for years. Even after we were no longer married, we worked together 18 years.
Wow.
So, so I did everything other than I did not cook steaks. You did not want me to cook a steak, but I could do pretty much everything else: waitressing, the bookkeeping, bartending, janitorial, whatever. That's what happens in a small family business. You do it all.
Was it a dinner house only, or did lunches?
I used to do lunches, but not after. I mean, when I was younger. I mean, really young. No, mostly dinner house, banquets, stuff like that.
It's funny. Where I'm from in National City, you had Cafe El Juan, which was famous Mexican food, and they're gone. And you had all these John Bull, which was an English restaurant. You had all these places that were landmark places that you grew up around. So it's funny how food and restaurants become kind of part of the idea. So Larapin Cafe up in Trinidad. Oh, by the way, I have a map. That's up here, Larapin. It's really good. It's far away, but it's killer food.
Well, and you remember it. I went driving up there. There used to be where Larapin used to be. I believe it used to be Colonial Inn.
Correct. Yeah.
And I think I went to a prom there. And I went driving around there. Now that I spend a lot of time in McKinleyville, I, every once in a while I go driving and remind myself of how beautiful parts of this county are that I just don't see on a regular basis.
We got to get reminded during COVID. We'd go on our date night, go from Dow's Prairie up to Huda Point or Camel Rock, and throw open the van, and here comes the picnic, and here's the sunset, and that's right, Humboldt County's magical.
It definitely can be.
Literally 5 minutes from McKinleyville, and it's like, what? Wanted to move to Redding? Are you kidding? Who would go? I love you, Redding.
I shouldn't have crinkled my nose, but it's too hot.
want to go to Chico where it's 187 degrees in the shade. No, thank you. Pass.
You see these freckles, and you see the very light skin. Yeah, I burn, and hot weather was.
Humboldt's perfect. It was 75 in Santa Rosa Monday on the drive back, and that was plenty. That felt like just about the right amount of heat.
It's almost too warm here today.
Right. By the way, just for the record, today is. Let's just look. We'll look. I think it's 73. What do you think,
It was
Nick?
77 earlier.
Was it? Okay.
Depends where you are.
Right now in Blue Lake it's 76. 71. That's a total heat wave here. Which people go, that makes no sense at all. Come on, Scott, that's crazy. But yeah, once you sit out in that.
And the humidity.
Yeah, right.
Sounds good. Anyway.
I mean, McKinleyville 68, 69 is like perfect. We live up in Dows Prairie. Right? So you told me you work at the airport.
Yeah, I started working for SkyWest, and it's quite the experience. I do just about everything. It's kind of it says agent, but in Humboldt County, it's so small. Everybody's they say cross-utilized, so you work in all the different positions, and it's been quite the learning experience. I'd like to tell people there's a reason not to pack too much. It's like I've had to lift things that are like. I'm not kidding when I say 90 pounds. They get the dark purple tag. It's
right,
just
the heavy ones.
It's
what do people put in their rice bricks?
It just sounds really bad. Bodies, I don't know.
Yeah.
Big. I mean, there's some and
weed.
The weirdest thing is you can smell it, and I didn't. Yeah, I'm going. What is that doing? Isn't this like a facility? Yeah, I must just be too law abiding.
I would think that TSA would smell weed and have to break it open and. Take your weed.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
But it's been a great learning experience. Good people working out there. A lot of, but it's different. It's getting up and 3 in the morning some days, and I think the latest I was there was 3:30 a.m. when a flight came in. Yeah, really ultra late. So but I've learned so much. I mean, I was a traveler before, and now it's like I've kind of reconsidered. It's like, oh wait, I don't need to pack all that. No. And just looking at things differently and how they track baggage and how they really, I mean, there's a system. And so it's been very enlightening and a really great exercise program. I don't have to join a gym.
Right. Because you're lifting.
I'm lifting, I'm exercising. It's like, I'm trying to look at it that way.
So top 3 travel tips for us mild travelers.
Oh my goodness.
So pack light.
Pack light.
Yeah.
I realize that I pack way too much. I'd say when it says be at the airport 45 minutes prior, it's a serious. That's how
35
do I put this?
For us.
No, it's 45.
It's still easy, right? I mean, it should
you'd
be.
Think,
and people run in 10 minutes.
Yeah, because back in the day, how long have you lived in Humboldt County?
43 years.
Okay, yeah. So back in the day. How the airport was. I mean, if a plane was leaving and you got here, if you showed up late, they would stop. And there's times I know one person who I won't use their name on the air, but just the stories, and yes, we are a small community, but it's not just these are the rules. There's a real reason for it because people don't understand how those bags. They don't magically get to the plane. Let me just tell you that.
Right.
And they don't get loaded by themselves.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and so if people do come in late, I think we've done our best to make sure they still get it. But that would be one of the tips. It's like I know it seems really, and like we shouldn't have to because we're a small place. It's really important. I would, if there's one thing I'd say, it's like be kind to the people who work there.
Yeah,
and that's the other thing too is people. I can understand. I've gotten upset more times than I can count over things going sideways with flights, and the people who are working there are literally just trying to do their best, and sometimes their hands are tied. But it's been very interesting because no day is the same. Not many days go exactly as planned.
Who have you seen? Anybody? Any rock and roll stars?
Yeah, there was that
came through.
There was that one rapper guy. This is how I am. It's a rapper guy. He was here.
Nick probably knows the rapper guy.
I think it was Tech Nine.
Yeah, that was it. So
was he nice? Was he cool?
Yeah, he was nice. But so there's and I'm sure there's more. I've realized that I'm in the plane so much, doing the work in there, that I don't see people come and go as often. So now I like to see, everyone looks at me, they can't figure it. They look at me like, I know you.
Yeah. Wait.
What are you doing here?
You were the president of Humboldt County.
Yeah, something like that.
That's good.
So,
I love it. Do what you love. And so be there early, a good hour.
Yeah,
for,
be there.
for
Yeah.
our
I mean,
airport.
just be kind.
Pack light and be nice.
And I think and be nice or try to be understanding.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the things, I think you probably heard about the TSA scare last week.
Yeah. Tell us about that.
That was interesting.
What happened?
Well, that's a really good
We're
question.
out of town, and I just read, Johnny was
I'm
reading
trying
on
to think,
Facebook.
how much can I say? Actually,
it's pretty
I
public.
think what happens is, TSA not only looks at your hand, your stuff you carry on.
Right.
They go, everything goes through detecting equipment, right?
Sure.
And, sometimes things are seen. The timing was just kind of weird on this one because we had to bring a plane back because there was this, kind of a concern over something that was seen, then.
So the plane was already in the air?
No, it was, but, you push it out and it's getting ready to take off. But,
and then they pulled it in.
And so it's, it makes sense. I mean, it's just being safe, right? And then the pilot, he was great. He actually had flown 11 years in Afghanistan and just moved to the United States like 3 years ago. But, he wanted to be ultra careful also. So, he ended up having to offload people. And you've got another plane that was down, and I was unloading the luggage, and all of a sudden I hear they're evacuating, and I'm going, what's happening?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, it was interesting. Like for 3+ hours, we were all over sequestered, kind of passed by the parking lot. It was interesting because towards the end, you saw people talking with each other. It's kind of like being marooned on an island or something, and you start making your friends and talking. But it was, in the end, it was just something that looked suspicious. But, when you see something, they have to take precautions.
Was there residue on a computer or a laptop or something?
Yeah, something, or wires show you. It's like you'd be amazed at the bad things people do, and the things, like say what you have to do for the safety of an airplane. It's like every plane at the end of the day is absolutely totally searched. I mean, pull up the seats, everything, to make sure that there's no issues. So, there's a lot of careful thought, maybe. Good. Yeah. But it's interesting. It was the plane, the people who were on the plane, I ended up, one of the guys used to work for me at the restaurants. So we got caught up. Ryan Sundberg was there.
Sure. Small world.
He told me to text him when the plane took off. It's like, okay, I'll take care of that. And so it was interesting, but it was one of those things you couldn't have planned for.
Right.
And some people were not happy, which I can understand.
Well, that disrupted travel, but better than 9/11.
Well, and and then the flight, the pilot was great. He's like, we're still going to go, and I actually had a friend on there that, they had a wonderful time on their cruise they went to. It all worked out fine. It just was kind of
delayed.
Kind of delayed. Yeah. But, so I mean, things like that are, I haven't had a boring day there.
They say that TSA, I think I've read this or somebody was telling me that you'd be surprised what people try to run through the TSA stuff, like in their bags. Here's a knife. Some guy had a gun. It's like, what are you even thinking, man? What do you do with that 45 in there?
Yeah, you do kind of wonder. And, back where I'm at right now, I'm mostly just with like luggage, and I'm not like where I'm checking in people and seeing all the stuff.
You're the rookie.
I am the rookie.
That's good.
But you got to start somewhere.
Yeah, you do.
I think I'm like some people's, I'm at the age of, how to say this, some of my coworkers are probably could be my grandchildren. It's like, I think about it, it's like, oh,
wait,
yeah,
this is weird.
But
that's all right.
Yeah.
That's great.
It's fun. It's definitely different than I've ever done before.
I imagine every day would be different, and that tension level and people half asleep. I mean, coming in at 5 and you can't see straight and all that.
Yeah. But yeah, so it wasn't something I expected to do, but I had some friends who've retired elsewhere that did that. And so and there's some benefits to it.
Sure. Yeah, we had a couple friends work up there. So Eureka High, and then you went to Humboldt State direct. Did you take a break?
No, I went direct. I actually, my father-in-law at the time was a professor out there. I went as an English major.
Oh.
And then I switched to business because it was faster.
Good call.
Yeah. But, even as the business, it didn't really translate to the restaurant business. But
right.
Yeah, I went through. It took me 6 years because I got married. I had my first child and
How many kids?
I have two.
Nice.
Two sons, 40 and 37.
Right. We have a 40 all the way down to a 20, which is wild stuff. Yeah. As you know, we have 9 kids. Oops, that's 10. 9.
Wow.
40 to 20.
Well, my life was easy comparatively speaking.
Yeah, right. We just found out we have grandbaby number 11 on the way for Christmas.
Oh my!
A little Christmas present in Boise, Idaho.
I was born on Christmas.
Really? Merry Christmas and happy birthday.
Yes, and always remember to wrap that baby's birthday present, or the child as he grows up, wrap the birthday present in birthday paper. Do not wrap it in Christmas paper.
Yeah. I relate. My birthday is January 2nd, which is kind of the second worst day because the party's over, New Year's is over, New Year's Eve is over, New Year's Day is over.
Right.
And here's your Christmas and your birthday present. And you're going, wait, what?
Yeah.
So anyway, what a horrible trial I have in my birthday. So so you studied business. Business, great program up there.
Yeah, no, and the teachers were great. I enjoyed myself. I was not the typical student that got to go out and stuff. I kept working, and I was married, so I didn't have what some might consider the typical college experience. But
yeah, let's talk about the protest up there for a minute.
Huh?
I don't think but there's a protest.
Yeah. No. What?
No, I'm not sure if there's any win in going there, but I was looking today. They got a lot of the spray paint off.
That's
the buildings and all.
I think, without going too far into protest stuff, I think the vandalism was just like, there's some things that just are, it's like, hey, it didn't have to be going to that. But
when you vandalize Columbia University from where I sit in Eureka or McKinleyville, I'm going, that sucks. That's too bad.
Yeah.
But when it's your alma mater and hometown and they close down everybody and everything, and then there's 100 cops from all over the world, and then there's no graduation for a really good friend, Tina, who we love. And they almost didn't do a graduation. It's like, so I guess we're going there. So enough said. So
yeah. No, it's just, you can't guess how things are going to play out or that something's going to start happening. And, I think all the people can do is do the best they can as things unfold and try to be prepared. But how it's like you can try to be prepared for everything, and there's still going to be something that comes along.
It's called life, sadly. So I was prepared to be an oceanography major, and I became a liberal arts major because that feral hippie child thing didn't play well with science. So, hey, recreation administration. Dad, did you major in recess? Well, kind of, smart aleck.
So did you? No, I'm going to ask you. So did you teach, or what did you do with all that?
No, thank you for asking.
Yes.
I actually worked at St. Mary's School first year half-time and Dallas Prairie School half-time as a rec leader with kids. And the Catholic school was really God's training for Scott to become a dad because they had K through 8. And turns out that teenagers are quite evil. They're nefarious. I have a bunch of names for them, and I probably won't repeat them all. So but it taught me to be patient and to, don't give everybody an F, which I did. And parents, D's and F's, man. Screw with me. I'm right out of college. I know everything. And so,
ouch.
The Catholic parents and then the private school parents. So a lot of private people with money that sent their kids because they didn't want them to go to Arcata High or wherever. Right. Sent them to school there. And so they just didn't appreciate that because that's going to ruin your GPA when you get to Riverside. Cal State, whatever, Fullerton. So it was a source of bitterness, and I had to learn through it. And it was good training to go, oh, you could probably not be everybody's friend. And you don't have to give everybody a D either.
You could, if you want to try to not be everybody's friend, you can go into politics.
That
really works well.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Everyone likes you when you have a restaurant, by the way.
Right.
But
That's
then
kind
when
of
you
a
mix
connection.
the two, it's kind of like.
Yeah. No, it's interesting. We talked to Steve Madrone here, and I find him delightful. I don't necessarily agree with him on a lot, but that's okay. And that's the cool thing, and that's one of the threads. The first one is the joke. It's called Cal Poly Humboldt. Everybody corrects that. The other is there is a feeling of separation out on the earth right now of people dividing up and being nasty and continuing in that practice. And a couple of people that have come on have really enlightened me and said, hey, Dennis Rail from Los Bagels, different ones. Hey, it's okay. I can totally differ with this rancher I'm on the board with, but we're also connected and we can find common ground all the time.
Well, I think that's an important thing. And unfortunately in politics at times, it's not so much the people that are doing it, but it's the people around them. It's like, you can't be friends with that person, or you can't. Because I mean, Steve and I have our own, let's just say that we were doing this a lot. I mean, because we had a history that went back for a long time where he used to come and was not always really happy to or nice to the board. That was a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
And what ended up is, we just have different approaches to things. And one day we kind of had a discussion, just the two of us, and it was really a frank discussion.
Mm-hmm.
And I was maybe too abrupt, but I think it was good because it opened. I became more aware of who he is as just his individual person. I may not agree with his decisions. I may not always agree with how he approaches something, but it was one of those where you try to establish a relationship when you think there's just no way, but it still works, and so I don't think there's anybody that I can think of off the top of my head that, well, maybe one, but they don't live here anymore, but that I just would not be able to sit down and talk with and not feel comfortable. It's like, that's one of the things I loved about the job, is being able to meet with people who perceive me as being one way, but after they get to know you, they're like, oh, okay, you're
a human being.
You're not bad.
Yeah. I like that. I wish I had more of that out there. So let's talk about the county for a minute. What do you see? Let's just do a past, present, future. So what do you see as our kind of looking in the rearview mirror behind us issues going into the present? What do you, not necessarily that we've overcome, but maybe things that are still persistent?
Boy, I don't know which way to even go with this. I mean, I think part of what's happened is, we had things that were great ideas that maybe didn't work out the way we had planned, say cannabis, and how we were all trying to figure out how to do the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, we've seen the challenges and issues, and that's part of the financial problems, right?
Boom and bust on that.
Yeah. And, same with like the tax that, which one was it? The 4%? I don't know which we call it, but it was the sales tax. And, and it went to a lot of different agencies, and because we were helping other agencies, multiple. And, that source has since stopped creating. And so it's like, it's not going as much, I don't think, into the community as it was. So, I'm not sure how you set those things up differently. It's like looking in the rearview mirror. It's like, well, we could have done it differently. I wouldn't be able to, I wouldn't know how. Trying to think. I've been missing for a while as far as not paying a lot of, I shouldn't say this. I haven't been paying a lot of attention to all the little intricacies of what's happening.
You don't have to anymore.
No, every once in a while I'll follow an issue.
Mm-hmm.
But, there's some things that are still out there and impossible to tackle, like where they talk homelessness. I mean, housing is still an issue.
And healthcare.
Healthcare.
Steve brought up the 3 H's, yeah.
I never thought of it that year.
Yeah, the healthcare issue.
Yeah, it's I still hear from people now. I mean, it's not because they're talking to me because I have anything to do with government. It's more like I'm talking to people about my age, and we're all getting older and needing to go places to get things done.
Right. Nick, I have to go somewhere right now and get something done.
Yeah.
Well, I had 2 new hips at Stanford 10 years ago.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, same day. It was pretty rad.
You were the hippest guy around.
I was very hip for a minute. And then my kids go, Dad, you used to be cool, huh? I go, yeah, then you guys came along and ruined me. So that kind of family joke. Anyway.
Yeah, that's...
So yeah, cannabis boom and bust, and everybody's trying to make nice and try to figure out the right way to tax it and get everybody legal. And now it's kind of like weird. It's like...
I look back and I keep thinking about when we first did. I think Mark Lovelace was still on the board. I mean, it seemed like a huge moment, when we actually were moving forward, and with a lot of good intentions. But I think not realizing, part of what happened, I think is the state maybe did some things that we thought they weren't going to, like allowing the very large grows down south.
Okay.
And those basically, the mega grows.
Supply and demand, direct all that.
Yeah. So
where are those, in the valley?
Santa Barbara area. Then
So they're just giant barns full of weed.
Not just barns. I mean, just
open fields.
Open fields. And my nephew's a firefighter down there, and you could. It's like, if people think it smells bad
here,
in certain places here, it sounds like it's pretty bad there. Huh. But so it's kind of like, what's the next?
Yeah.
And right now there's some exciting things happening though. There's on the peninsula, whether it's Nordic or I'm sad I'm not there now for the fun stuff that's finally starting to happen. Yeah. So
they got that permit okayed or whatever that is to bring in seawater.
Yeah, for Nordic. Yeah, that was exciting. That's cool. It's the Coastal Commission.
That's a big step, right?
I think so. Yeah. Eating and the fact that the Coastal Commission staff was in favor of it was a good thing, and so
it's a plus.
So that's hopefully good. And then of course all the wind energy, and there's a lot of, I think there's so many unknowns and just little flags, red flags that come up, or red, issues, and so it's interesting watching.
Yeah. It's funny how things look good on paper. We talk about that at home. Yeah. That idea, that conversation, that looked great on paper. And then the execution, I mean, it must have a name. That's just the life lesson. Sometimes, the Edsel was a really cool car, and then it was crap. Yeah. It's just like it didn't go well. And who knows why, Ham's beer was a really killer ad campaign, and it didn't, or it was Olympia beer.
Okay.
It's lousy beer, but I don't know that. I don't have any idea, but it was clever, and it never sold anything. Alka-Seltzer, plop, plop, fizz, fizz.
Oh, what a relief it is. Yeah.
Didn't sell Alka-Seltzer. So
it didn't?
Go figure. Yeah. It's memorable, but it didn't move product. So it's kind of funny. Life's funny in such ways. So question for you, maybe a little bit more direct. What do you think your top 3 contributions were politically, in terms of things that maybe you collaborated on or that you were spearheading, that you look back and, hey, I did 3 cool things that I really liked?
I think the one that stands out the most, and then when I explain it to people, it's total, I guess you'd say, geek language, because no one else would think it's exciting in this whole world except me. But one of the things, trying to get housing built is really a challenge, especially the affordable housing. And if you're an affordable housing developer, the state has you go through just so many different processes, and every year something changes. So like when you're trying to get these different, not loans, but programs, the rules would just keep changing. And so there was, this was in regards to Samoa, the Samoa townhomes over there, which actually this also helped the veterans housing that was built on Fifth Street. But what had happened is there was a change in the rules at the state, and instead of a cash match, it was this. This is why I said this sounds so geeky. But instead of a cash match, other places were using housing vouchers as a cash match. And our housing vouchers in Humboldt County were people-based.
Oh.
So I said, how about we change this process? That was I had to lock two people in a room to have a conversation for about a day. And we said, okay, we can do this. Anyhow, ended up going through the process to change that whole, the way that voucher system worked in Humboldt County, which allowed them to then use that value as a cash match, and ended up making those two projects go over the finish line. And to me, those were those are, hard to explain, and people are probably trying to go, what did she just say? But
it got it done.
But it did, and it's one of those things that was small. I think one of the other things I did that, you do something that you step in something, and you have to fix it. One of those moments was that I had a planning commissioner who unfortunately had an issue with the city of Eureka. There was a property, the person was being sued. I didn't realize that, and so I got a lot of really negative feedback right at election time. It was such a fun time to have to go through that. But what it ended up doing is allowed me to be creative and find a way to get the solution. And eventually, that housing was built. So sometimes some of the worst things that happened to me ended up being one of the best things that happened. So I think, if I brought anything, part of what I brought to the county was I would like to think an open ears and a comfortable person for people to talk to. And I don't think I don't think anyone ever felt very, threatened by me. I feel like people could come to me and talk to me. But yeah, so mine are down in those little really nerdy details. But
that's cool. I like it. I think Joni would want me to ask the next question. What was it like to be a woman in politics?
I didn't notice it being a problem. Maybe during campaigning, I think there was a little bit more judgmental, views of women, because women are seen as harsh, and when we say something, people use different words for if you I'm not going to say it on there, but if a guy is cranky, they say one thing, and when a woman is, it's a whole different thing. Yeah,
he's a jerk, and she's not a jerk.
Yeah, a little more strong than that. And but even at the state level, when I was with the state Association of Counties and I was president there, I never felt as a woman that there was, I think because there's so many women nowadays.
Right.
I never felt that I was at a disadvantage. And I never felt I had an unfair advantage either.
Okay. Yeah, fair. We have a female pastor. We love Bethany and Jason. They're great. Yeah. And that's a whole different deal too. That's kind of pioneer territory still, strangely. Not totally, but just different and great.
Yeah, it's things are constantly changing. So,
hi Bethany, hi Jason. So yeah, I love it. So let's talk about your legacy. I guess we sort of just did, but what? Actually, before we do that and we wrap, I'd like to do a little quiz. So we have a quiz, and there's a small prize available for you, ladies and gentlemen. I should have do we have a graphic that can come up? There it is. It's audio.
Okay.
So, Virginia Bass, your favorite, and we're just going to go food because would you necessarily consider yourself a foodie after?
Probably. Yeah. I mean, I love food.
And I guess, you're not in politics, so you could kind of pick out your favorite place. So, best salad bar in town?
My house.
Your house, okay. Good answer. Salad bar.
I don't get, this is sad. I don't get out much.
Okay.
This is so sad.
A lot of people since COVID. How about meat? Who's got the best meat in town? You can't say your house.
Well, actually, though, can I tell you? Well, okay, I won't say what I was going to say. I almost never order a steak out or meat out because I'm usually disappointed because I do like what I do better at home. Okay. However, Double A seems to be a lot of people's favorites, and they have a great burger.
Okay. How about a good one? How about a donut?
Happy Donuts?
Happy? Okay.
They were closed the other day, though.
Were they? That's
I was
she's
worried.
like never closed.
I know, kind of worries me. No, those apple fritters, I could just, there's a
those
die
big
for.
ones, yeah.
Oh, man. And
Oh.
heat them up, yeah.
And they're good for you. It's really weird.
They're
Actually,
good for me. Okay.
They're diet food. I lose weight. What? How about a coffee house?
Ramones, Harrison.
Mhm.
I have a seat there with my name on it,
Really?
almost.
Oh, they're great.
No,
What's Barrett's last name, the owner?
Meyer, I think.
Meyer. Thank you.
I think so. I mean, they were in business back when
Oh, they've been around.
we were back in the Restaurant Association.
Sure.
And I think they had the Valley Boutique. I mean, the restaurant.
Oh, yeah.
I was still in high school. You know, I mean,
yeah.
they're just timeless, though.
Oh, they'd make a thing called a mochaccino that was really good. They named kind of their own drink, and it was
I had a beautiful one this morning. I took a picture of it.
really
I'm one of those, my Facebook reminded me I did a picture last year.
That's
8 years ago.
pretty nerdy.
It
You gotta
is.
take
But
a
she
picture.
did this beautiful heart, and then she made a face in it. I've never seen that. Anyway,
Barrett herself, or just
no, one of
okay.
their staff. I mean,
Oh, that's cool.
they were like an artist. I'll show you. Okay. Yes, Ramones.
Here, hold it up.
I like to go other places
Mhm.
occasionally, but Ramones is my go-to.
Delicious. Okay. How about dessert? Who has good pies or dessert out there?
Oh
We don't
my.
really have a dessert place per se, do we? Or we used to have bonbonnieres when we were growing up.
No, and I haven't been down. Yeah, you know, I'm stumped. I make a great rum cake.
Okay.
So there you
Rum
go.
cake's good. How about Chinese?
Well, it's not Chinese. I really like to go to curry leaf, and I don't know what curry leaf is. It's a little bit of everything.
It is. It's kind of fusion. Yeah. Have you been to the new rooftop sushi joint?
No, I haven't yet.
Yeah. Crashed it the other night. It was great. Don't tell anybody, but here's what happened.
You went into the.
Jody and I were there, and we're in line, and the guy he's got a list, and he's going, "Well, are you on the list?" I said, "I don't know, Scott Hammond, and check it out." And he goes, "You don't appear to be here." And I go, "Could you look again?" I don't know what.
And now you're
I kind of
admitting
went
this.
there, and he goes, "Just go up there." And so it was the Adams construction party initial party, and it was fun. Had a little bit of champagne and hung out and saw a bunch of friends. Saw Greg Foster and everybody.
You know, they're doing some great work. They're everywhere. I don't even know who these guys are, the Adams Construction, but they're everywhere.
Oh yeah,
I'm really impressed.
it's beautiful, and the view up there is just unbelievable. So, well, cool. Let's talk about your tombstone for a minute and your legacy. And you're going,
excuse me.
What?
I'm not quite ready for that.
What are you hoping? I don't think anybody is. What do you want to be remembered for?
I'm really boring, I guess, but I think I'd like to be remembered as somebody who basically was kind and worked to try to move people forward with. I mean, I'm not a person that's really into conflicts, so politics was a strange place for me.
So you're a peacemaker, yeah.
You know, I like to believe, and I try that. I'm not always successful, but you know, I'm a big believer. Like I said, even the story with Supervisor Madrone and myself. You know, I think there's something to be said for not being angry and being able to find the commonalities. You know, and have those bind you together versus the differences.
Especially politics, I would think.
Yeah, and you know, but yeah, I know that sounds really boring. So I just kind of try to make the path easier for everybody in life. I'm so boring.
And you're a mom and a grandma too, right?
I am.
How many grandkids?
I have 3. I have a almost 13-year-old grandson, and I have 2 grandsons here. One is 4.
Nice.
That's I got Branson and Cooper that are here.
Nice.
T-ball, playing T-ball now.
T-ball's big. Pretty boring to be part of, but
it's so funny watching the kids lay on the ground, play with the dirt. You know?
Get off, stand up. It's first base.
I know. Don't run that way.
And then soccer's the next thing where they just run in a pack.
Yeah.
And they do the pack thing.
And it's fun. One of my sons, Jared, lives here. I don't know if anyone, are you familiar with RMI?
Construction?
No, Redwood Marine.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So my son he's one of the red bearded guys there, but he's really into hunting, and you know, he's a part owner of the indoor shooting range.
He works for the main guy whose name is
Dan.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the indoor shooting range. I shouldn't be probably saying that, but it is super cool, and it's a safe place to go. Yeah,
sure. Do they provide guns too?
They do.
Well, that'd be fun.
And, you have to, there's the appropriate, safeguards put into place.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, my son took me one day.
Yeah.
Quite interesting.
It's fun to shoot. We went up to Medford and to their, they have a range up by the stock car races. And gosh, about 10 of us, so we did about, 10,000 rounds.
Yeah.
It was like amazing. And everybody brought every gun, and it was like, here, Dad, try this one.
It's kind of cool because theirs is indoors too. And
it's more controlled.
Yeah. And so it's nice that I have at least one of my kids living here,
Nice.
He's got, Brittany's his wife. She works with Caltrans. She's a wonderful, she's one of those, I don't know how they do it these days. They not only work and, I mean, obviously we worked, but it's a different level now. And the number of things you take your kids to.
Right.
And the different, I just don't know how they do it.
It's amazing. I watched my daughter drag 3 little guys around and come in with a diaper bag and bagels. And she goes, I don't know how Mom did it with 9 kids.
Yeah.
And I go, do you have your other arm with you? Because you need it for this thing that you're, and I go, let me help you with those bagels.
9 kids. I'm still.
Yeah. At 9 kids, you have other kids helping. So there's built-in stuff. Do we want to talk about Matthew in the Middle at all? Is that
we can?
Do you want to? I mean, just want to honor. If we have to.
It's really interesting because it was kind of a bone of contention often, especially when I was running for office and stuff. So, now that I have been able to kind of back away, I'm mostly a proofreader.
So
and
you're part of the operation.
I'm part of it, but, and every once in a while I will comment and, I will say, he gets a lot of feedback and people are from out of the area even. Yeah. But yeah, no, I don't always necessarily agree, or I don't necessarily agree with maybe how something is said, but I think he does tons of research. And the one he did, without going too far, a couple of weeks ago with on the protest, the work he put into that, the facts and everything that he had put in there, it's really interesting that he's getting a lot of really positive feedback, but it's both, I don't want to say from both, quote, sides, but it is, from people who, I won't use their name, but one person wrote him, he said, I never agree with you. I agree with you on this one. You did a good job.
Right.
So it's, every once in a while.
Victory.
But yeah, it's like, I'm a person that likes to smooth things over, and he might be a little bit more of a agitator.
Oh, yeah, that's okay. So Matt Owen's a writer. Matthew in the Middle. It's on. Is it on Loco and Time Standard?
It used to be Loco, but he's not on Loco anymore. But Time Standard, and then he puts it on Facebook. But then people send it to other people, and
so and share it. Yeah. No, he's been Time Standard for a long time. That's our daily paper. Eureka. It's 150 years old. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Remember newspapers, folks?
Hey, I still get it every morning.
It's only $500 a year.
It's crazy.
It's wild. They wanted to mail us one a day late and charge us, because you're so used to, like, it was $60 a year, and now it's like $360, and you get, anyway. I don't want to complain. I'm glad that there's a newspaper.
Yeah, it's
We're talking about the Eureka Reporter today.
It's so
fun. What a great
funny.
paper
I just
that
thought
was.
Well, they had a lot of. I remember when they do like the what's going on in town section, and
Really
they'd
nice.
have the collage with all the different pictures and different events. Yeah.
Oh, they did a great
was fun.
job.
That was it Judy Pelosi?
Oh, Judy ran that for Rob. And so we had 2 daily papers at one time, which was amazing. And for those who like that, I remember my boss I was at cable TV, he came in from Texas. He goes, I've seen a lot of newspaper. This is an amazing local paper. Everything's quality about it. And so a non-sustainable model for the most media per capita in the United States, one of the top most infiltrated per capita radio, TV, print, and still is in America. So anyway.
Nice. So, and how did you get into this?
Well, that guy there, he interviewed me about Humboldt heroes. So, we do the veterans.
Yes, right.
We honor a vet once a month at Scott Hammond State Farm. And so we've done it for 7 years. Every one of them's magical and different and wonderful. And, sometimes we get people in the nick of time before they pass.
Yeah.
And we get to honor them. It's really special. And we don't, it's just very modest. And, I was interviewed by Nick, but before this guy, he goes, well, you want to go national or statewide? I go, Nope, it'd wreck it. Why would you do that? That would be the modestness and this would take the special part of
Yeah,
the
because I mean,
magic.
I remember being on the sidewalk.
We do it all the time.
Basic, yeah.
Yep.
Just
We've done it one time and 2 times indoors now. I started to brag about, hey, it's never been rained out. And of course, this winter it rained. So anyway, so Nick had me on and he suggested, hey, my daughter does a podcast in Medford. And I said, hey, why don't we do this? And my friend Peter Stark calls me an archivist. So there you are with Mary Keene and Officer Brian Stevens and Dennis Real and
all good
Peter.
people.
Oh, great.
Wes Chesbrough, I saw he was on.
Wes did a killer job and, and people that are making a really good difference. And so I think you're super good company. So what does it say on your tombstone? What would you like it to say?
Man, these are deep questions. I haven't thought that far.
Okay. Okay.
So and I don't know.
Sit on that for a minute because I have 2 other easier questions.
Thank
that are
you.
not.
That was like, what's the meaning of life?
Right. What do you want? I want world peace.
Yeah.
I would like to ask, who is Virginia Bass?
I don't know if that's easier. Who is Virginia Bass? I don't even know how to answer that. I feel like I'm failing my test.
You're doing great.
I'm just somebody who enjoys people and likes to be with people and seem to put myself in situations where that's what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a year of being very bored and out of my mind, not working. And so now I decided to find a place that I can.
Going to become a pilot for United.
No, don't think so. My sister was a pilot, though.
Oh.
See, she's more exciting than me. She flew 777s for FedEx. She was a pilot. Yeah, no, seriously.
That's
right.
right.
I told you she's a lot more exciting than me.
So she's a pilot.
Pilot, yeah.
Still?
So, now she retired a couple of years ago.
Wow. Was she military prior to that?
No. Okay, the secret is when she graduated, she got the credit card for my parents, went to UC Santa Barbara. Hope she's not listening. And let's just say she took her, I think she'd know I would say this. She took her flight lesson. I mean, she did everything, why not, right? And then let's just say that by the time I graduated, I did not get a credit card.
Okay.
But
sorry.
No, but she
the pilot got it.
No, it's okay. No, she's done amazing things. She actually flew helicopters also.
Wow.
And she was one of the first female pilots with FedEx when they started really expanding their.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So she's a
big time 777s.
Yeah.
So the other question that's quite easy. Who are you?
So far, I haven't answered who I am.
And so Jody's father was Tom was an amazing guy. So a lot of AA people and alcoholics have these pithy things like your mind is a terrible place. Never go there alone. Who are you? So he said the 2 hardest questions in life: who are you, and what do you want? So what would you like? What would you want for Humboldt if you could have your way?
Want for Humboldt?
What do you
other than
what do you want?
It'd be great that, you could do we could actually, there'd be money to do the things that would make life, better, whether it's the housing, as simple as the roads. Roads really impact people. But I think it also, I'd like to see less division. And instead of seeing less, I think we're seeing more. And to me, if anything that I am would be like a peacekeeper or somebody who that's what I prefer. And maybe I just don't like conflict. But I was in the world where that's what I got a lot of. But, I wish that we could get back to a place where maybe we're never there, but where it just didn't feel so angry and divided, but the entire country is going through similar things. But I always thought of us as being, we've always been different, right? And it's like we should be able to
weather it.
Yeah. And I feel sad when I see the divisions, and I just know it's normal, but it's like I want to fix it, but I don't know how.
Right.
Especially anymore. I'm like I said, I've removed myself from that place of the world. So how do I do it now from where I am? I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's the question for all of us. What do you want out there, and what are you going to do to functionally contribute to the solution, not the problem?
Maybe I can come back next year and I'll think about these other questions.
No,
but we can. But it'd be interesting. It's like, is it going to be different? Is it going to be worse? I hope not.
Yeah. I think what I've always enjoyed about you, if I may pay a compliment,
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
is, as public figure and kind of knowing you lightly in other circles, always approachable, always lovely, and always kind. Just
Thank
kind
you.
of the real you. And hey, hi,
Yeah.
and Joni likes you, and that's good. That's a good test when Joni likes me.
Yeah, good. Good.
Sometimes, hi, Joni, love you.
I think I have to say, being in customer service and being a waitress, those are skills. You know Julie Fulkerson,
Sure.
really. I love Julie. She's such a
She's
kick.
been on the show.
Yeah, and we were talking. She started as a waitress also, and we both believe that it is the best training ground for almost any job you can have, whether even in politics.
Yeah.
So, I've gotten to know her quite well, and I really, really enjoy her.
Yeah.
But when she said that, it's like, yeah, it is.
Yeah, she's great. Good to see her. Good to see you. Thanks for being on the show.
Thanks, and maybe I'll come back again sometime. I'll fill you in on what it's really like to
what the tombstone's going to say,
and if I survive, maybe let you know more what it's like being in the pit of a plane.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, thanks for being here. Tell Matt I said hi.
I will.
Probably see you at the Carter House.
I will. I hope so. Yeah.
Kind of our haunt.
Especially when Jeff's playing.
When Jeff's playing. Friday nights, Jeff Smoller, folks, from like 4:30, 5 o'clock to whatever.
And he doesn't play too loud. He's just perfect background music.
No. Jeff Smoller at jeffsmoller.com. I don't know. Anything you want to plug before? You want to plug your event?
Actually, I do have. I haven't had an OH's night events for different fundraisers, and I've done a couple for Salvation Army. There's actually one that's coming up on June 8th. It's a little bit different. Okay. It is actually Brian Papstein.
Sure, talk
somehow, yeah.
Hey, Brian.
And I've known Brian. Hi, Brian, for a very long time. I mean, he grew up in the Middletown area too. But I've agreed to help with a fundraiser for the roof that's leaking like a sieve at Sacred Heart Church. So part of that is a little bit different because normally I'll pick a different cause, but since he asked and known him a long time, so it'll be fun.
Is he Catholic?
I would
maybe
he goes there, so I don't ask a lot. Yeah, I don't ask a lot of questions, but he was looking for his and he's also we talk about the restaurant and different restaurants, the old restaurants, and so that's coming up, but it's it's open to the public, and hopefully we usually have about 100 people.
I think Brian would be a great podcast guest because he's the pioneer Humboldt podcaster from 200 years ago. I mean,
and he looks great for his age, right? 200.
Yeah, he's got my same haircut.
Oh,
we were actually at Humboldt together.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he played basketball 100 years ago, and so
I think he's a couple years old. He was a couple years older than me.
Yeah. So. Cal Poly. Anyway.
I've been told you can still call it Humboldt.
I think you can call it what you're talking about. So I went to Humboldt. Yeah. Oh, okay, cool. Well, thanks for being on the show.
Oh, well, thanks for the opportunity.
All right. Have a great day. And you can please come back.
I will.
All right. Thanks, Virginia.
All right. Thanks.
Bye.